college here, so it's not something I have to do day-to-day basis, but I'll never forget the first time as an intern I walked into the Cowboys locker room, and it's just something you have to learn. You know, when we go to Spurs games, you know, you have to be comfortable, and if you want to be taken seriously like every other guy is, then you have to act like it too and not, you know, not be embarrassed by it. So that's definitely an interesting, the first time you experience that, that's something you have to...
Tell us about your first experience in the locker room. Yeah. What happened?
The first time I went into the Cowboys locker room, and the same for every time we go into the Spurs locker room, and they're always walking around, can I even say that? I can. Naked or with a towel, you know, and they're just not afraid to drop draws and change right in front of you, and you're kind of like oh,
as you're
okay. You know, because you don't want to be like looking or anything. I don't know. It's just something that you have to get used to, and luckily it's really not that big of a deal anymore because, you know, you just kind of turn around and, you know, not pay attention. But my first time when I was an intern and I was, 18 or, you know, 19, 20, it's a very interesting experience.
To say the least. Who would you say inspires you the most?
Oh, Lord, that's a hard question. Inspires me the most. In the working world, I mean, definitely the people probably that I watch on TV.
Do you have a favorite?
I'm trying to think of who. I used to love Sam Ryan. She was a CBS reporter, and she's not on as much anymore, but I liked her a lot because she was pretty, but she also knew her stuff, and she kept it together, and I thought she did a good job. I really like Lisa Salters, too. Andrea Kramer is really great. I mean, all of those women who are not only on the sideline and they know what they're talking about, but they just have a personality to them, and I think there's quite a few of them, but those are probably my favorite right now.
Can you tell us a little bit about maybe your favorite project that you've worked on, or maybe something you're working on now? You were talking about culture.
Oh, I love this. Well, I mean, like we've talked about, we have, you know, special relationships with a lot of the players, but yeah, this is really, I mean, when we're reflecting on senior week, it's such a special thing because we followed them for 2.5, almost 3 years now, and yeah, I'm working on my Cole McCoy Jordan piece because it's senior week, which is really cool. Yeah, it is. It's sad, isn't it? It's sad as a, you know, if you're a Texas fan or if you've, you know, gotten to know him because you're seeing him leave. We've gotten to do a lot of special things. One of my favorite stories I did this year was I found out through the University of Texas football that there was a little girl that was coming from Nigeria who had a hole in her heart, basically. And she didn't have the money to get it fixed, and there were 2 Chicago Bears football players that were over in Nigeria because they're of Nigerian descent, and they paid to fly her down, and a place in Austin called HeartGift paid for her surgery, and it was the neatest. That little girl was the cutest. I actually have a picture of her. Sorry, I'm going to get it. It's back here. And it's kind of dirty. But that, oh, sorry, you can set me up again if you need to. But this is Shagun, and she was the cutest little girl, and 2 Chicago Bears football players paid for her way. I mean, 2 tickets, her and her mom from Nigeria, is not cheap. So that was really, I got to go in there before surgery and after surgery, and then we had, you know, video of the Bears players talking about it, and that was really, really special. So, and 2 of the Ocho brothers for UT football do a lot of that same kind of thing, and hearing their stories, you know, there's some really neat people you meet in this job.
That's like Stephanie Drewley, a producer at ESPN, came and talked to us. She graduated from Texas like years ago, and she's talking about she helps produce the Make-A-Wish segments that go on with NFL
cool.
during the summer.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing, and you know, except for just locally, and it was pretty special.
Combine kids and sports and
yeah, I mean, what could be mean? What did they tell you in school between dogs and kids? Like anytime you put that in your story, people are gonna like it.
Exactly. What's your favorite professional team?
Let's see. I like the Mavs. Probably the Cowboys, I would have to say. But it's really hard to be a Cowboys fan right now because I don't trust them. Yeah. I don't know what they're going to do week to week. Like, this weekend was terrible.
The Green Bay, that's my team.
Yeah.
So was it?
Yeah. Yeah, I grew up in Lubbock, so my teams were always the Dallas teams because we didn't have anybody anywhere near close. So the Cowboys, and I really like the Mavs too.
Would you have any advice for girls our age wanting to be sports journalists?
Definitely.
Like senior year, what should they do?
Sure. I always had the question of not knowing what to do because I heard so many things, but the main thing I always heard was you have to earn your dues, pay your, you have to go through the bottom to the top. And I definitely think that's true, but I don't think it has to be like a never-ending process. I mean, like I said, I went to Abilene, and within a year and a half I was here and so happy and doing what I love to do. So you just have to stick with it. It gets hard. You don't make any money. You don't know anyone for the first time in your life. You probably don't have roommates. It's going to be difficult. You're going to go through that first thing of saying something stupid on air that was not correct, or it's just hard. And you're going to ask yourself every single day whether you want to do it or not. I mean, we all do. And if you're going to learn then in your first job, if you really want to do it, you're going to stick through it. And if you don't, then you're going to go home and you'll probably be happier doing something else. But if you think this is what you want to do, then go pay your dues and it'll totally be worth it.
Yeah, speaking of like messing up and stuff.
I need to turn this off.
When Stephanie Drewley came and spoke to us about like working at ESPN, she was talking about if you're a woman in this atmosphere, there's like a spotlight on you, and there's like two things you can do with it. Like you can either just I don't know. It's like if you
make it look great or make it look not so great.
Yeah, and I think you're going to go through a little of both, though. I don't think you can say it's going to be great and it's not going to be great. Yeah, I mean, I really haven't had a lot of moments where it's not so great, but I've had some, and I definitely think they've happened more in my first job than anything else because you're so unsure of yourself and so unconfident and knowing if what you're saying is right or not. And but yeah, you can definitely use it to your advantage. I mean, I like that I'm a girl in sports. I like that there's only like 2-3 of us in town. It's different, and we bring a different perspective, and my boss will tell you that all the time. You just, even in your storytelling, you do something, it's just unique and different, and you can bring a spotlight to you, and it doesn't have to be negative. You're going to deal with some challenges, but you work through them.
Thank you. Is there anything else you want to throw in there? Anything?
Anything else I'm leaving out?
Good
My boss
story,
rocks.
Advice, opinion. Shout out to Dustin Harp.
Hi, Dustin. I don't know if you remember me. I probably didn't make an A.
I think Leslie does a really good job of finding certain niches in the stories that most guys don't think of. Like, she will find something that she will bring out a side from the players that most of the time we don't pull that out of them. It seems like she does a really good job of, like, she'll get a guy to comment about whatever. It could be something about the way they dress or their style. Or, you're really, and she'll turn a whole different angle on a story that we would have never thought of. And so a lot of her stories can be fun, but they can also be emotional and good. Like the one she's doing today, I'm sure will be pretty emotional too, because it's going to be, Jordan Shipley and Colt McCoy are roommates. They've gone through a lot together.
BFF story.
They go out together as seniors. Who would have thought? I mean, Jordan's a couple years older than Colt. So, but Leslie does a good job of finding that certain special something in the players that a lot of us guys can't seem to pull out of them.
I just think it's less about X's and O's sometimes and more about human interest. That's the reason I like this job. If it was always about X's and O's and which play and was that the zone read, I think you would get bored with it. I mean, what do your viewers want to see? They want to know the person. They want a reason to cheer for them. And I think